This past November and December, many of you participated in the 7th annual Michigan Economic Outlook Survey. This survey is authored by the Baker Strategy Group along with CFI Group and Logic Solutions. The Economic Outlook Survey takes the pulse of the Michigan business community and offers valuable insight into the business climate and prospects for the promising talent in the state and expectations for 2019. Here to unveil our key survey results is Baker Strategy Group Managing Partner, David Baker. David?
We're delighted to be here today to present the results of the 7th annual Michigan Economic Outlook Survey. This program began in 2013 as an effort to gather feedback from Michiganders working in all three of our sectors, business, nonprofit, and government, with one central theme: to make Michigan a great place to start and grow a business. Special thanks are due to Steve Gregorian and the Detroit Economic Club, supporters of this program since its inception. Thanks also to Sherry Petrus with the CFI Group and Jimmy Shao with Logic Solutions. Also thanks to Don Hart, Diane Keller, and Dr. Matt Brown for their consults. We'd like to also thank over 500 chambers, business associations, and economic development groups who distributed the survey and helped us collect almost 17,000 responses over the 7-year period. Michigan's population is at 10 million, with a labor force of 4.9 million, and an unemployment labor force of 4.7, which gives it about a 3.9% unemployment rate, with a GDP of roughly 530 billion. So it turns out that the Michigan workforce sector breakdown is similar to the distribution of the survey responses in Michigan, so we feel pretty good about the distribution. For timing, the program runs for a month and begins 1 week after elections to allow some of the political dust to settle. This year, elections were on November 9th, so survey ran November 13th through the 14th. And for the measurement, we borrow an approach used by Ann Arbor-based consulting firm CFI Group, founding member of the American Customer Satisfaction Index. The CFI Group approach asks questions on a 1 to 10 scale for greater measurement precision, and then translates results to a 0 to 100. So we use this method for our reporting. Okay, on to the results. The short-term outlook for Michigan in 2019 looks strong. The 6-month outlook is 79, dropping only a point from last year's 6-year high of 80. Historically, Michigan has run 2 to 4 points above the U.S. average for about the last 4 years. A slight dip as we head into 2019 is consistent with the movements of the U.S. average and seems to be more connected to the national economic and policy issues than Michigan-specific activity. For the longer term, there are 3 measures where Michigan's above-average scores show some concerning dips for 2019. Michigan has been more business-friendly than the U.S. average for 3 years. But this year we see some softening as Michigan slipped 3 points this year while the U.S. average moved up 2 points. The good news is that Michigan still remains above the U.S. average. Scores for Michigan being on the right track follow a similar pattern where Michigan dipped 2 points and the U.S. average rose 2 points during the same 1-year period. And finally, the score for the likelihood to recommend Michigan as a great place to grow a business fell 5 points in 2019 and is now at 76, a point below the U.S. state average for 77. A portion of this drop might be attributed to some of the economic news that broke during the survey period. In any case, 76 is still high score, and it's the highest we've seen since 2013, other than 2018. Other measures are on par with the U.S. average: 81 for a great state to raise a family, 70 for a great state for young professionals and a place to start and grow a business, and 68 for a strong, vibrant economy. But 2019 might be a year to focus on regional activity. You can visit michigan.gov to learn more about how the MEDC organizes prosperity regions to help promote the regional activity in Michigan. At the regional level, there are 4 measures worth noting for 2019. Skilled, educated talent available for hire continues to be low, but it is one of the few measures that moved up for 2019, even as the U.S. state average fell. So efforts dedicated to addressing talent availability in Michigan appear to be having an effect. Economic regions with a forward-looking culture that embrace entrepreneurialism provide a place where startups and businesses can thrive. Scores peaked last year, but slipped as we head into 2019. However, Michigan still scores 4 points above the U.S. average. Education, on the other hand, remains low. It's one of the only measures that consistently scores below the U.S. average, so continued efforts to improve the education systems in our regions are needed. And finally, the likelihood to recommend score for economic regions for Michigan follows a similar pattern for most of our other measures, but continues to outperform the U.S. average. So overall, there is some concern about the uncertainty as we head into 2019, but Michiganders say that the outlook remains healthy. Thank you, and I'm honored to hand this back over to the esteemed panel for insights for Michigan in 2019. Thank you.